Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to my presentation on Constructivism. I'm going to quickly cover off on my values and how they align with Constructivism, look at how Constructivism applies to primary education, the benefits of it, and some considerations. So as educators, I believe we need to have an eye to the future and the future skills required of our students, such as critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, etc. I think our practices therefore need to nurture their sense of agency, creativity and resilience. Students need to develop the confidence in their ability to learn and develop learning as a lifelong skill. They need to be open to new ideas, adaptable and able to work with others, and also that they recognise that making mistakes is part of the learning experience and develop stamina in order to take on more challenging activities as they progress forward. I think this quote by Vygotsky really sort of captures the future benefit of using constructivist practices. What a child can do today with assistance, she will be able to do by herself tomorrow. So how do we apply it? Well, Tam talked about 4 characteristics of a constructivist learning environment. Firstly, about having that shared knowledge, recognising that all participants bring knowledge to the occasion, including students, that their current experience and understanding. Also shared authority. All parties have voice and contribute to the learning. That in fact the teacher takes a facilitating role in the process, and that group and collaborative effort is really central to constructivist learning. Brown also talks about the importance of having heterogeneous groups, so you mix up students' competency level in order to extend their zone of proximal to development. So what do you do? Well, it means if you've got a topic, the first thing you want to do is understand what is students' understanding, what experience are they bringing, what knowledge are they already bringing. You can do that through discussion, through drawing, through a range of different activities. You want to tap into those experiences so it resonates with them and they can link the learning with their broader world. It talks about discovery, particularly guided discovery, to give students the opportunity to explore the topic. The value of inquiry and problem-based learning. So you're posing questions to students that don't just have single answers, could have a multitude of answers. And in the learning process, they learn to sort of work out and develop their thinking along the way as they go through a problem-based approach. Assessment forms a critical part of this in terms of assessing their knowledge at the beginning, through the process, and then at the end. Collaboration is key, as I mentioned. Palinskar's reciprocal learning that talks about the shared understanding that you develop between teacher and student is really important, and developing those, creating those communities of learning, which in a classroom can be created through group activity or peer-to-peer activity. And again, this is where having students work in different groups helps them also expand the multiple zones of proximal development. The guidance and the role of the teacher is really important. So using modelling practices, so for example, you might demonstrate how to work through a problem and then give the students the opportunity to take on that role. Scaffolding is really important, and Collins talks about really knowing how to balance the level of scaffolding you need and the importance of thinking through and planning the questions you use. So it's not just about relying on their recall, but actually helps to promote deeper learning. And that's where we can look at Bloom's taxonomy there in terms of using the appropriate questions to build knowledge. So what are the benefits? Well, the increased engagement, which is will inspire the curiosity and is meant to lead to better educational outcomes as students just become more involved in the learning process itself. It promotes and focuses on understanding versus rote learning, which can be a bit of a function of, say, behaviourist processes. The skills, learning how to learn, are transferable across subjects and broader into life. It builds meaning by tapping into authentic experiences for the child, making sense in their broader world. It develops life skills around working with others, communication, and gives them a sense of ownership and control over their learning experience. So I think it works very strongly in alignment of developing that sense of agency, creativity, and resilience. But there are some considerations, 6 ones that I'll talk about quickly. One that a lot of the academics reference are the sense of time that it can take. So students need to be able to learn how to work in groups. Teachers also need time to prepare the appropriate activities, think through their questions with the scaffolding, developing their modelling, the assessment, and also creating the environment for safe sharing, so students are prepared to share their construction of knowledge as they go. We've got to be mindful of reductionism, so just because students are collaborating doesn't mean they're involved in a constructivist process. If it's too simplistic, if it's not involving their engagement in any or building or challenging knowledge, then it risks losing the meaning and value that a constructivist activity will bring. We need to look at balancing the students' assessment of their knowledge build versus the curriculum needs, and also recognise that for some students who like a more structured environment, this might be challenging for them and somewhat frustrating. We need to be mindful that other approaches are also still relevant. ABA through behaviourism is still very applicable for children with behavioural issues, and we've also got the importance of reflective practice, developing students as self-regulated learners and developing their metacognition strategies through information system approaches that are equally valid and have their role to play. And there's also a mention or reference that the experience level of a teacher can be something to take into account. So a more experienced teacher will arguably have a better way of really defining what the information gaps are and the appropriate sort of activity to employ from a constructivist experience. So we need to apply constructivism selectively, we need to think it through and recognise that we will be developing our skills as educators, as will the students along the way. Thank you very much.